Alrighty, good evening from my part of the world, and welcome everybody to the last session of the day. It's very exciting. We're going to have a fantastic session about the MapTiler plugin. It's the version 3 of the plugin, and there are fantastic new vector-based maps as well as a global digital elevation model. And here to tell us more about this really cool new MapTiler functionality is Tom Armitage. So over to you, Tom.
Hi, thank you very much for that introduction, Amy. So yes, as predicted, we'll be talking about the MapTiler QGIS plugin. The reason we're talking about this today is that we've just released a new version 3, to coincide with the release of QGIS 3.24, taking advantage of some of the new functionality that we've developed there in collaboration with Lutra Consulting. So let me just share my screen and we can get going. Cool. Okay. Let me just see if I can retrieve my my notes. Sorry, a second. There we go. Fantastic. Great. Okay, so quick word about us at MapTiler. We provide a software platform which allows you to make maps your way. So these are customizable for use online and offline. We also maintain the Open MapTiles project, and why we're here today, we also developed the MapTiler QGIS plugin. And the plugin that we've created is there really to make it super easy to access vector and raster tiles from our web services in your QGIS project, where you can do things like print at really high resolutions. So the plugin that we've created, it's really there. It's just so easy to add in styled vector tiles into QGIS. Once installed, you can just access that from the browser panel on the left-hand side and bring in these layers. And we've just brought in this global RGB terrain dataset, and also our really beautiful cloud-free satellite imagery. And this project is open source. There is a repo and a bug tracker on GitHub for everyone to have a look at there as well. So something about the map styling. So when we have these vector tiles, there really isn't much of styling information that comes with those when you're looking at those raw tiles. So what we have is the style.json files based on the Mapbox.gl style specification that come with the raw data, so that you can actually view these styled vector tiles through the plugin in QGIS. And that means that you can apply the different style.json files to the same vector tiles, but you'll get a really different look and feel to the data every time you present it in one of these different ways. So here you can see green for outdoor, or our new winter styling, or something that's maybe more useful for transport. So lots of different ways of styling the same data, but it's always the same data coming through at the background, just a different style.json file that's used to represent it. So what are these new features that we're presenting here today? Well, the latest version of the plugin was that we've just brought out, basically brings in this, the key feature is this global DEM. So it's the whole planet. We collaborated with Lutra Consulting to add some extra functionality that was needed in QGIS, so that this RGB terrain data could be consumed and displayed, but also you'd be able to actually use some of that power of QGIS styling to do hill shading, contours, even use it in 3D terrains, or do some terrain analysis with it. So before we collaborated with Lutra, you could display sort of like a raster layer, but you couldn't do any of these really cool features. And now all of that's been brought to QGIS so that you can actually do that. So yes, this is the sort of thing, this is what we're looking at, just bringing in this DEM, using pseudo color, hill shading, discrete levels to it, even the contours there, all in this in your QGIS project. So yeah, looks really, really cool. Other things that we brought in, our new, really, really pleased about this, is just the general OpenStreetMap style brought in, but as vector tiles. So you can go in there and you can tweak, you can remove layers, you can tweak the cartography, that sort of thing, actually in QGIS. We have a new winter style as well, which is great for all your outdoor activities, skiing, cross-country skiing, winter hiking. So it's got loads and loads of different things. You can see all the ski slopes there, not just lines, but areas where available from OpenStreetMap data. Color coordinated, so black runs, red runs, locally as well, so double diamonds and that sort of thing over in the States. And of course, bringing this into QGIS means that if you've been out doing some winter hiking, cross-country skiing, or even just hitting the slopes with your snowboard, if you've got any GPS tracking data, you can overlay that in QGIS and see where you've been on the day. Lots of hill shading and things like that in there as well, so you can see slopes and that sort of thing. We've even got some all your après-ski bars and restaurants, and even some avalanche information that's been provided through OpenStreetMap as well. And then finally, our absolutely stunning cloudless satellite imagery that we put together from the 2021 Copernicus project data from Sentinel-2 with our new styling. There's lots of information about that on the MapTiler blog about how we made that using some pretty new techniques and on the latest data. So it's absolutely gorgeous. We'll get to have a look at that in a second when I do the demo. So a few other sort of back-end things that we did. So the native QGIS classes for network requests, we're using these now instead of the URL library request libraries, these sorts of things. So that means that the plugin can now work with even behind a proxy. We've done some improvements to the style parsing, so reading in that styling information. So some expression functions have been added, and we're better handling of fonts as well now. So if the font isn't present, it'll go and find an alternative. And we've added support for dashed lines, which wasn't there in the past. And something mentioned earlier in the release party, we've got these tokens now instead of API keys, which means that you go off to your MapTiler Cloud account, grab the token, and stick that into the plugin in the interface here. There's a link if you haven't already got your credentials, guides you through the process. Very simple to set up a free account, and you can start pulling in these layers. But the tokens mean that you're not going to be exposing your API key. So if you do share a project, a QGIS project or something like that, that API key isn't exposed. You're using a token instead. So that can't be, that's all fully signed. So it's nice and secure, and no one can use your account for making maps. Okay, so here we go, live demo time. Always a risk, but hopefully everything will run smoothly. Have there been any questions so far, Amy?
Not yet, but a whole bunch of people have been saying hi. Jigme from Bhutan says hi. Hans van der Kwast, Tom, Chadwin, John Neary, and Adrian all are ready.
Very cool. Okay, some familiar names in there. So hello, everyone, and hello to the new people too. Great. Okay, so let's pop open QGIS. So just a regular blank open project. Now, what I'll do is just quickly show you how easy it is to get the plugin. It's just in your manage install plugins. You just need to do a quick search for MapTiler, and it pops up here. So if you haven't yet updated to version 3.24 for QGIS, then you will only have the version 2 of the MapTiler plugin available to you, because it does rely on this extra functionality to use the tokens, to use the global DEM. But you will still be able to use your previous version. If you have upgraded QGIS and you're now upgrading your MapTiler plugin to version 3, then don't worry. Even though we are using a new token to sign for the data going forward, the API key will still work with any projects you've already set up. So it's only when you add new data to those projects that you'll need to go and get a token instead of reusing your API key. So we've taken care of you there. You may, because of that, because of not breaking your old projects by having a new plugin, you may find that if you open a project and you use the new the new plugin, you might not see all of the data sets in the browser, but they are there. I'll just show you in a minute how to do that. So we've got the plugin all installed, it's ready. So that's fine. What happens, what you see then is in the QGIS browser panel on the left hand side, you get this new entry that says MapTiler. You pop that open and you can see all these layers ready just to simply add to your map. So it's just a double click and we'll have a satellite layer in our map. Similarly, double click, let's bring in the OpenStreetMap. If we look in the layers, that should just be maybe sat underneath. Oops, just taking a minute to load that one. So yeah, we can see we've got our OpenStreetMap layer here. So as we zoom in, we'll see increasing levels of detail. Let's just change the EPSG to the right. Setting up a new project with a new profile, and you forget these other things that are normally default. So let's look for pseudo-Mercator. There we go. And as we zoom in, you can see the OpenStreetMap cartography appears. And the great thing, again, if we look at this, we've got our layer styling panel over on the left here. And if I open up, because we've got multiple layers making up this, so it's the open map tiles. And you can see here in the layer styling that we can actually go in and we can change the colors of the different things. So the grassland, scrubland, we've set it all up to be the familiar styling, but it's all here to edit if you want to. Sometimes just removing the parks or these sorts of things to filter out the noise, or to just change the styling to how you want it. And then obviously the satellite, if we just back out a little bit here, it zoom, as you zoom in, it will change from satellite to aerial imagery, but just finding that lovely satellite imagery layer that we've got here, and of course that's a really nice looking base map. So if I just zoom to these data sets I quickly created earlier, we can zoom in on this part of the Bahamas and we'll get our beautiful satellite imagery in the background there, and over the top of whatever data it is. You might be doing an expedition to this sort of area. You've got your marker buoys and your study areas where you're taking samples, but you get to view it with this really nice looking backdrop mapping. So let's have a quick look at our winter styled map, because that's another one that's really nice. So you'll notice that's not in this list. And again, if you've upgraded the plugin and you're not seeing the OpenStreetMap or the terrain RGB, then right click where it says MapTiler, add a new map, and then we've got a whole load of extra ones here that we didn't want to be taking up space, but you might like to use. So there's the UK's Ordnance Survey Open Zoom Stack data in here, some Netherlands cartography as well, and in here we can see this winter. So you just select that, click OK, and we can have a look at the winter styled. Obviously not great in the Bahamas, but we can zoom over to the Alps perhaps and have a look there. So let's just turn these off, zoom out. and zoom into the Alps, which should be around here. We're getting a little bit of a taste of some hill shading here. And let me just find a really good example of a ski slope where we've got some nice actual areas shaded. Not all the ski slopes have the areas, so some of them. Here we go. There's a red run here, but you can see we've got all the toes and the chair lifts and everything else like that added in. But I guess what many of you are here to see is the actual global DEM data. So let's bring that onto the map, and we can have a play with that. So let's just zoom out so we can see the Alps, and open up our map and add in this terrain RGB. Turn off these other layers, and you can see. So brilliant, that's great. We've got the terrain added, but what the real power is here is if I open up the styling and have a look at what we can do with QGIS's just the native options in QGIS when we can change this to a hill shade. So let's zoom into the Alps again. It's taking a minute for it to sort of load up. There we go. And now we can start playing around with all of these really cool features, adding the multi-directional, playing with the Z factor, all of these different tips and tricks that you can use to create really nice hill shades. Then, of course, we can do the same. We can turn this into contours. And the great thing about this is a global data set, so you can pick anywhere in the world and just create these elements for that location without having to resort to any other special software or dig into any kind of processing algorithms. We've now got contours for the Alps, or we can have the hill shades. And like I said, this is a proper terrain layer. So if you wanted to create a profile using the profile tool, all of these different things, this data is there. It's usable as if it was a DTM data set that you've downloaded and put onto your hard drive. So really, really, really cool, really powerful stuff for you to have a look at. So I think really, really happy to take any questions anyone might have. I'm hopefully being backed up by Adam. Sorry, yes, carry on.
Anita actually has a question. She says, can I add local Austrian vector tiles to it as well?
Now, I believe there is a way you can, if you've got your own vector data, if you can see here, if we you can add something in from your own URL. That's the styling data that way. When it comes to, I guess, adding your own data for a style, ooh, not sure. Hopefully, is Adam there on the?
Yep. Adam's right there. He says yes, you can add any custom style.json or tiles.json. Just go to the plugin menu and add new map from URL.
Yeah. So this is the location here. So this is where you would do that. Thank you very much, Adam.
Brilliant stuff. No, that's great. That is awesome. We don't have any questions currently in the live chat. I do encourage you to ask any questions for Tom. And I just wanted to see if Tim had any questions or comments, if he's there.
No more questions from me. I've obviously been following along in the previous session as well, and just super nice what you've developed there, Tom. So thanks for sharing with us.
Yeah, well, fantastic.
All credit to Adam and the Lutra boys for getting the plugin sorted with this and getting all of that extra work done to QGIS. I know that the communities already benefiting from the addition of these sort of RGB data, terrain data. So there's other things happening because of that development work gone in. But we're always, we are huge fans of open source at MapTiler. That's why the plugins code is all open source as well. So it's really great to sort of help out and be part of the community in that way too.
It's great to see you contributing back into the core of the project as well as
absolutely.
So thank you.
No, that's great.
Alrighty.
And like I said, the MapTiler accounts are free to set up. So just head over to, there is a blog post in the description of the YouTube video, but that'll take you onto the MapTiler account. You can get yourself started there. So you can access all of this data for free. Obviously, if you're then going to go on and have commercial use for this, then we would ask you to have a paid account for that side of things. And of course, you can then use all of the MapTiler Cloud account stuff if you're ever going on to do any web development. And for web mapping, you can use all of these layers in the web maps too. So check out the blog post, check out the MapTiler website.
I think you may have answered this in the last minute or so, but sure. Tom Chadwin did ask, what is the free tier threshold? Okay,
so that's actually, it's pretty generous. You can find all of that information out on the MapTiler pricing page. So let's have a quick look at Cloud and the plans. So for free, you've got 100,000 requests a month and 100 megabytes storage if you want to upload, because you can upload your own MB tiles. You can use MapTiler Desktop to create your own data in MB tiles and then upload that up. You can have up to 5 custom map styles in the cloud. So really, it's the usage that's coming through. But it's pretty generous, 100,000 map requests.
Fantastic. John was just saying in the chat that I think he just did. Yeah, I thought so.
Awesome.
No, that's fantastic. Then just the last thing is Adam just says it'll be good to mention the love open source, and if the free plan is not enough for you, your open source project, then you guys are open to different plans, etc.
Yes, if something doesn't quite work for you, but you've got some sort of reason or project or anything like that, please do get in touch with us. Just use the contact us links on the website or sales@maptiler.com and just talk to us and we can see what we can do.
Awesome stuff. I think that's brilliant. I can see so many use cases for this sort of thing, and I think that your imagery is absolutely fantastic. I think it's going to save a lot of people a lot of time and man hours, and yeah, no, it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, no, definitely some of my favorite things is to just sort of browse around the satellite layer and have a look at some stunning locations. Like the Bahamas is great, but also down in Australia, the Middle East, there's some weird and wonderful dunescapes and all sorts. And yeah, just the way that we've created this data by taking the pixels and then finding the best average color that isn't a cloud or isn't an error, means that it's a nice, smooth, consistent layer across the planet. So there's very little sort of jarring edges to image. Well, there's no jarring edges to the images. It's all very nicely smoothed out, and you get these weird and wonderful places on Earth that look absolutely stunning.
That's fantastic. So you know what I'm going to be doing with my weekend is literally zooming in on places. Oh wow, is this in Australia in the outback?
Yes, yeah. Oh, now I did notice it's lake something or other. Not much water, but obviously the salt and everything makes these weird and wonderful patterns. I'm not sure I'll be able to find it just without any guidance, but Uluru looks pretty spectacular too.
Oh.
So yeah.
I must go and have a look at it. I'm keen to go and see the pans in Botswana actually.
Yes.
There are a couple of great like salt pans there, etc. So keen just to have a look. I think this is absolutely amazing.
The Dead Sea's got some interesting stuff as well. It's similar. It's obviously where they produce some of the salts and things like that.
Oh wow. It's interesting to see how different the colors in the salt production area versus the sort of more natural.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah.
I suppose it would be shallower, but it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Brilliant
and then again, things like the Nile is picked out quite remarkably, and some of the coral reefs in the Red Sea. Yes, you can waste many hours looking at this stunning imagery.
Oh, fantastic!
And then you can add your own hill shading to it too now with the terrain.
I'm so impressed. I'm definitely going to go and have a look at these. Alrighty, so there are no more questions coming in from the live chat. Just some thanks. And I don't have any more questions other than I'm ready to rush off and go and play with this. So yeah, that'll be then me just tying up the open day for today. As Tom mentioned, the link to the blog is in both the description for the video and on the wiki channel. So if you want to go read through the blog, there's some amazing images there as well, and just gives you a nice sort of curated step-by-step way of looking at things and what the new plugin does. So definitely go and have a look at that. And it just leaves for me to thank everybody who was involved in the open day today. It's been a fantastic open day. So many people wanting to give sessions. Everyone's been interacting so fantastically. So I do want to thank everyone for that. And I think just the last sentiment for today is, with what is happening in the world at the moment, we just want to send all of our best and our best wishes and prayers to people in the Ukraine and in the areas that are having conflict, and that we are all hoping and praying for a swift and peaceful solution. And because the QGIS community is affected by this, and we are aware that our developers and our users out there are affected, we just want to send all of our best and our warm thoughts to you. So thank you everyone for today, and all the best for the weekend.
Thanks, and thanks Amy for presenting today. Great job. Thanks everybody. Thanks Tom.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. Thanks for the opportunity.
Okay, then. Bye-bye.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks, Tom. That was brilliant. I've stopped the stream.